you should be trying to choose to be a man rather than being a boy. And I think this is a very prevalent problem in today's society. We have an abundance of instant gratification activities at our disposal, and we also have the lack of willingness of young men and just even teenagers to strive for things that they deem to be way too difficult for them. They basically are setting themselves up for that failure. It seems nowadays we're trying to emulate a lot of like TikTok stars or the e-boy craze that took over the world a few years ago. We're trying to become almost like feminized versions of men, right? So we're very preoccupied with a lot of the outside things, outside materialistic things, right? And we want to be perceived as like desirable. And I think the more you try and become desirable, the further away you go from your true self, I suppose, really. And this then leads to a lot of the instant gratification, which I was alluding to earlier, and that is just rampant in today's society. The reason I brought up these TikTok stars and say the ones who they've got like a really big following, most of it is due to looks or maybe the image they are trying to convey to their audience, right? So I feel like this breeds and it solidifies any insecurities the young man watching it would have felt, right? So it really heightens these, and they see this person gain all of this attention, all this respect, right? And they want to emulate that. When, like, I know from my personal experience, I definitely displayed a lot of jealousy towards these guys, and I tried to become that, but by trying to become that, I became weaker and I became more insecure, and I developed all these negative kind of traits that deviate from my normal behavior and say my normal thinking. This also can then breed a very egotistical outlook on life. So you're constantly consumed by the fascination of trying to improve your appearance and your your outwardly appearance to people, rather than working on the inner strength that we have, you know. And I can already hear the man-hating feminists, the crazy feminists, right, who would probably be thinking that I'm bashing any like quote-unquote feminine men or men that are weak. Like, I think the qualities and attributes that masculine men have, those are the ones that are desirable. And I think, you know, a lot of women, they mightn't admit that, but 100% that's what they find desirable. So, you know, strengths such as strength. Okay, so yeah, one of the strengths is actually strength. So that is both physical and emotional, right? Mental strength. They also have a lot of nobility. I mean, they're proud in themselves, but they're not bragging about it. They are content in who they are. They've achieved what they want. Or maybe they haven't achieved what they want, but they are continuously striving to achieve that. So they don't need the external validation. They have that internal validation on lock. That's locked in, right? So, like, for me, I had this kind of awakening about probably a year ago. I mean, I had remnants of it definitely prior to that, but definitely I'd say a year ago was when I really began to realize and acknowledge the importance of being masculine. And you don't have to be a fucking Hercules type figure or jacked, Superman. But like, I have found through the pursuit of being more masculine and doing the shit I don't want to do, that I have gained more confidence. I've gained more respect as well for myself. And I feel other people now have begun to see me in a different light. I believe that through maxing out your masculine traits, your inherent masculine traits, you are becoming more of a complete human being, not just a complete man. So Jordan Peterson, he discusses the concept that was proposed by Carl Jung, and this is the shadow self, right? This is the almost like your unconscious version of yourself, where you might possess more malevolent traits. And these are traits that you don't display to the people around you. So he proposed that in order to become a stronger and more complete man, you need to foster and nourish that shadow self. You need to integrate it into your everyday life. And I think that is the perfect way for a man to build a solid foundation. It's almost like a self-preservation technique, right? So he has these qualities, these maybe dangerous, savage qualities that he can then tap into when times get tough. Whereas the other people, the other men who just, they bat it away, they never want to address that side of themselves. They never want to address that shadow self. Then they will be weaker and they will face more difficulty in later life. So essentially, stop trying to be liked. Work on yourself, work on your inner weaknesses, work on your inner strengths. And then, just fucking, go after it and do hard shit. Go do hard shit, man.